I think everyone is familiar with the term parallel universe by now, but probably no one has actually seen what a parallel universe looks like, right? Today, I'm going to show you a glimpse of one. This is what a parallel universe looks like. Why do I say that? Because someone has been there, and not only that, they took this photograph. This image gives people an overall feeling of inconsistency. You can't imagine what kind of place this could possibly be. And this is exactly what we're talking about today. An extremely famous urban legend called the Backrooms. In January 2022, a YouTube channel called Kane Pixels uploaded a video titled The Backrooms, Found Footage. In this video, there are some young people who appear to be filming a horror or thriller movie. In front, you can see what looks like a director's hand holding a clapperboard, marked with the date July 8, 1991, about 34 years ago. After that, the director and cameraman say something to each other. The cameraman starts backing up, and then the camera suddenly goes dark. It seems like the camera fell to the ground. When the camera lights up again, he finds himself in a yellow room. This room is exactly the place we saw in the photograph earlier. The ceiling has rows of neon lights, buzzing with electrical sounds. The floor is carpeted, reportedly somewhat damp, giving off a musty smell. The cameraman then picks up the camera and shouting loudly to see if anyone else is there. And he begins searching for an exit. Although this place has many lights, there are still many dark corners. He wanders around exploring, then suddenly feels like someone is watching him from behind. When he turns around, he sees something following him, but it's hiding from him. So whenever he turns around, it disappears. According to the video, you can see that in different areas of the backrooms, the layout and arrangement of pillars, rooms, and other elements are completely different. Sometimes there are gaps between walls, and when you look through these gaps, behind the walls are countless other rooms. This video was posted on January 7th, 2022, and since then, this YouTube channel has uploaded more than 10 similar videos. These are all very old videos, some lasting 1 minute, others 10 minutes. When you piece these video clips together, you get the following story. These are all very old videos, some lasting 1 minute, others 10 minutes. When you piece these video clips together, you get the following story. Due to the rapid population growth, 50 years ago, a company called Async, the world's leading technology company, proposed a solution. They would expand space in another dimension for humans, then move part of the population there to live. Everyone knows that currently, we're facing rapid population growth, which is why Elon Musk's SpaceX is researching and developing the Mars Migration Plan. But this isn't called a Mars Migration Plan. It's called a Parallel Universe Expansion Plan. Simply put, in the space where we currently live, they would expand another universe in different spatial layers, overlapping our spatial layer. This plan was called KV-31 at the time. This project proceeded very smoothly from the beginning. On October 5th, 1982, they conducted the first space-bending experiment. How did they open a parallel universe? Like this. They used strong magnetic fields to tear a crack in space, then opened a plane from this crack. The technique used was called Async Low Proximity Magnetic Distortion System. Unfortunately, the first two experiments ended in failure. Async continuously adjusted the details while upgrading their equipment. They also received strong support from the US government. Later, on July 2, 1988, 6 years after the first two experiments, when they conducted the third experiment, they successfully opened a parallel space-time portal for the first time in the entire project. But it opened for just an instant before closing again. They couldn't see clearly what was on the other side, only light. With this one successful experiment, Async tightened their experimental adjustments. Finally, on October 17, 1989, the sixth experiment successfully opened a permanent parallel space-time portal. After opening it, what was behind the door was like this. Behind this door was an area covering 1.5 billion square kilometers that Async had built in the parallel universe. This space was designed by them, so as soon as it opened, it was directly designed and completed, formed in the blink of an eye. Everything consisted of rooms where people could live, with an area equivalent to about 3 times the surface area of Earth. This place was only for living. No entrances, exits, or windows, all like partition walls. And this is exactly where the cameraman at the beginning fell into. Why did he fall in? I'll tell you shortly. After The Backrooms was built, Async was initially very happy because they had finally solved the population problem. However, they gradually discovered some serious issues. First, The Backrooms was opened at 5:04 p.m. on October 17, 1989, an event that coincided with an incident in San Francisco, California. A 6.9 magnitude earthquake occurred, causing many buildings to collapse. Not only that, it killed 63 people and injured 3,757. From then on, Async discovered that people were continuously falling into the backrooms, just like the cameraman at the beginning. What kind of people fall in there? Why they fall into the backrooms? Async had no idea. Initially, they didn't know there were people inside. Later, they discovered there were people inside, and once these people fell into the backrooms, it was very difficult to get out because the area inside was too large. The only exit Async knew of was the door they had opened to the parallel space-time. There was no other way out. Moreover, inside, it's like what we just saw, like a maze where you can't find any clear direction, so finding the door is extremely difficult. Sometimes a door appears on the wall, but when you go through it, it's still just a room, not a real exit. So why design a space-time like this? Actually, they didn't originally design it this way. They designed it normally, like any other house, with each room separate and divided into individual units. But after it was created, they never expected it to turn out this way. Because people kept falling into the backrooms, the number of missing people in the real world kept increasing. In fact, according to statistics from the U.S. National Crime Center, the number of missing people in the United States increased sharply from around 1990 to 1995. This means the missing population at that time very likely fell into the backrooms. Otherwise, why would the missing population increase so rapidly? Since their experimental facility was located in the US, they weren't sure if people from other countries were also falling into the backrooms. So if you can't get out, where did these videos come from? Some people who fell in still found their way out, and these videos were uploaded after they escaped, while many others fell in but didn't record videos. Async quickly realized that there might be some kind of bug connecting the real world and the backrooms. Some people could enter there without going through the entrance Async had opened, so they immediately organized a reconnaissance team to enter the backrooms and begin exploration. With Async opening the space-time portal, they established standard rules for exploring the backrooms. These included: never enter the complex alone. You must always travel in groups of no less than 3 individuals. According to this rule, 4 Async researchers formed a small exploration team, entered the backrooms, and began exploring. To find their way back when they went in, they carried a very long rope together. When they went in, they discovered a dried corpse sitting on the floor. They brought this corpse back to the company. This person had clearly reached the exit, but couldn't see the way out. He didn't know there was an exit around him. Biomedical experts analyzed this corpse and found that this person had been dead for a long time. The cause of death was malnutrition, but strangely, his internal organs weren't dead. These living organs were covered by some kind of mysterious fungus. Not only weren't they rotting, but they were functioning well, so it was somewhat like a zombie. Later, they learned that in the backrooms, there were some terrifying creatures living there. Were these creatures automatically generated when the backrooms was formed? Or did they, like other people, fall from Earth? This is unknown, but I don't think they exist on Earth. It's also possible that something fell from Earth and mutated into these creatures. And it's possible they came from other parallel universes. If so, it also means there might be people inside who aren't from our universe, but from other parallel universes. Very likely, these terrifying creatures attacked people who fell into the backrooms. Then they implanted a type of fungus on them, meaning they turned us into a nutritional source to feed themselves. So these people all died from malnutrition, meaning they absorbed our nutrition. And these fungi, after absorbing nutrition, can grow very large as humans, and can even develop into human form, moving very quickly. Like this, they find other people, continue to capture them, then implant fungi again, and develop into people again. Moreover, they later discovered this thing could mimic human voices to attract people who fell into the backrooms. That is, when you fall in and you're all alone, you're very scared because there's no one around, no sounds. Then it suddenly mimics human voices to attract and attack you. Naturally, there's not just one monster in the backrooms, but many, and they're all creatures that don't exist in our real world. Currently, someone has organized and classified them. Based on their danger level, they can be roughly divided into 8 categories, from level 0 to 7. Level 0 is completely harmless. Level 1 is not take the initiative to attack, like a hedgehog. If you don't attack it, you won't be hurt by its spines. Level 2 is not take the initiative to attack, but capable of retaliation. Similar to bees. If you don't attack them, they won't sting you. Level 3 is take the initiative to attack, but quite weak. One person can fight back. Level 4 is take the initiative to attack like humans. Their strength equals ours. Level 5 is take the initiative to attack, stronger than humans. Level 6 is extremely dangerous. Level 7 is supernatural. That is, encountering these 3 levels means certain death. As for the fungal creature we introduced at the beginning, what level of monster it belongs to is still unknown. It remains a mystery, and in the backrooms, besides monsters, there are many tools you can pick up, all things that can be used to save your life. For example, in the backrooms, you can find a type of gelatin called royal rations. Eating just one piece of this can sustain you for a whole day's worth of food, so it's very important. In the backrooms, there are also mirrors. These mirrors look no different from mirrors in the real world, but they have a characteristic. If you look at them for a long time, you'll see some scenes from the real world. For example, your relatives living happily. So these mirrors are very dangerous. Wait, why is that? Many people, after seeing these scenes compared to their own miserable reality, become depressed and discouraged. They end up dying there, so these mirrors shouldn't be looked at too much, as they'll make people lose their will to live. The second recording was from February 29, 1990, when Async entered the backrooms and recorded video. This time they were patrolling, but while walking, someone heard what seemed like human voices around them, and the cameraman followed the sound. But strangely, it was a dead end with no people at all. When he turned around, the other 3 people suddenly disappeared right in front of him. Importantly, among the 3 who disappeared, one was holding the rope. After this person disappeared, the rope was gone too, and he couldn't find his way back. This video was uploaded, meaning he was lucky to find his way back later. But how he got back is unknown. In the video he shot, There's a scene where he finds a door that looks like an exit. But from what's seen in the video, they learned that not every room has this dark yellow scenery. There are different types of rooms. There are even scenes like outside weather making you think you've gotten out. But this space is just dark like this, with no one. Terrifyingly scary. Looking back at the video, the time when the four of them entered the backrooms was 11:36 a.m. on February 29th, 1990. But in reality, there was no February 29th in 1990. This proves that the world in the backrooms may have a completely independent timeline from our world. Since dangerous creatures could exist in the backrooms, on March 5th, 1990, Async built an outpost base in front of the backrooms entrance and installed many surveillance cameras. As a result, they recorded the shadows of some giant creatures, clearly showing they were avoiding human observation. On May 6th, 1990, they discovered a room with a floor full of holes. When passing through this room, the cameraman unfortunately fell into a hole. He discovered the bottom was endlessly deep. This proved that the backrooms wasn't just one floor, but many floors. Initially, they discovered a total of 9 floors, and gradually they found countless subfloors, even some very unusual floors. Later, they discovered hundreds of floors. How vast it is, no one knows. The yellow room at the beginning is called Floor 0, also called the lobby. Floor 1 is called Parking Zone. Floor 2 is called Pipe Dreams. Floor 3 is Electrical Station. Floor 4 is called the Abandoned Office. Floor 5 is Terror Hotel. Floor 6 is Lights Out. Floor 7 is called Thalassophobia. Floor 8 is called Cave System. Each floor has some special monsters and objects. They even have their own physics rules. In the backrooms, there's also an extremely terrifying area called the Void. In this area, there's nothing at all, dark as ink. People who fall there will fall endlessly in darkness and can't even die because the definition of time doesn't exist there. The backrooms has too many unknown dangers, and the creatures in the backrooms very likely could return to our world. If that happens, the consequences are unimaginable. Therefore, Async decided to permanently close the space-time door. But perhaps just closing the space-time door isn't enough, because the bug connecting our world and the backrooms still exists. So the result is that 1 year after closing the door, on July 8th, 1991, the exact moment when the cameraman at the beginning of the video still fell into the backrooms. The backrooms remains a threat, and if you're not careful, you could still fall in. So the question is, under what circumstances do you fall into the backrooms? By now, we roughly know that when humans enter a state of emptiness, they easily fall into the backrooms. So what is a state of emptiness? It's near death, extreme weakness, or when the brain suffers some shock and becomes completely empty. Humans will enter a state of emptiness and easily fall into the backrooms. When the cameraman was backing up, he possibly got hit in the head by something and fell down, so he fell into the backrooms. This is what we know so far. Finally, I'll tell everyone a bit about this famous urban legend, the backrooms. On May 12th, 2019, on the 4chan forum, an anonymous person posted asking people to upload some images that would make viewers feel uneasy. The result was that the first photo uploaded was exactly this image. It feels like it was taken by someone somewhere. No entrances, exits, or windows. Of course, there were some other photos uploaded by other people too. Speaking of this, everyone has probably realized that the backrooms is actually an internet creation. Based on one photograph, a story, and a world were created. The video about Async Company was created by a 16-year-old director, and many famous directors highly praised his video. They said his video looked very real, with many horror elements and classics, not like someone new to the industry. The entire work about that room doesn't exist either. It was drawn using 3D software. No matter how you look at it, it doesn't seem like something a 16-year-old director could create. It feels like the work of a major producer. Even though it's just a creative product from a 16-year-old boy's imagination, The Backrooms still gives millions of people chills and immerses them in that strange parallel world. So, do you believe The Backrooms is just fiction? Let me know. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell to stay updated with our latest videos. If you have additional information about this case or suggestions, please leave comments below so we can discuss these events together. Goodbye, and see you again.